What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Masters of Brickjitzu podcast. Today we have a really awesome special guest with us, Holly,
Oh,
aka Holly
shucks.
on Film, aka Potter Minifig Pals,
Only
AKA Holly
aka
Can't Game.
yes,
Plug the
awesome.
only
gaming channel that I
OGs.
haven't screamed on for a while. Whoops.
Only OGs remember
Anywho,
Potty and Minifig Pals. But here we are.
this is gonna be great. It's gonna be a dope podcast. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm so excited. So I guess Holly, everyone knows who we are. So let's jump right into you. What's going on with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm Holly. I originally started posting when I was 11, I think, on a little channel called Potter Minifig Pals, which was a direct ripoff of the Potter Puppet Pals. An 11-year-old me wasn't too creative, as you can clearly tell, and everything was filmed on my good old iPod Touch in one take and uploaded directly to YouTube because I liked watching people like the Brick Show and was like, oh, I'd like to do that with my Lego collection too. I had one video like skyrocket, and it was a Lego Mater review, and that thing is iconic and still sits pretty highly on my most viewed video list, unfortunately, to this day. And then I just stopped posting for many, many years because I was just, I don't know, I guess I just got bored. I sort of went through a dark age, but kept in contact sort of with what was going on and still bought some things like occasionally. Like every year I did purchase at least one Lego set. Majority of that came down to like CMFs being a thing. And then I started reposting when I realized that no one was being able to get Harry Potter sets, and somehow I was able to get them before Just Too Good and everyone else, which was super exciting, and I was really enjoying it. People were enjoying the videos, so I just kept going and ended up where I am today, which I never thought would happen, and am incredibly grateful for that entire journey. It's insane.
Quite a journey there. Holly's been famous than most of the people who are in the Lego community today. How about that?
It's insane. The fact as well that I've been able to go and meet a lot of like the people that I've met, like not everyone, but still a pretty big chunk. Like I remember I woke up one morning to a Just Too Good comment on my astronomy tower video, and I was like, this is insane, because like I was there when he was unbagging Mr. Gold in the background. I was there when he was unboxing that Scooby-Doo press kit. Those were exciting times, and that was incredible. And now I've seen Justin's Lego room. It's wild.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
It's crazy.
So
Well,
we could probably
go
guess
ahead.
by just the original name that you had back when it came to the original when you had your YouTube channel. You have a favorite theme. Do you mind telling us what that is and why?
Yeah, so for any audience members out there who couldn't guess, it's certainly by far Lego Harry Potter. I remember I went over to one of my friends' houses when I first moved to Australia, and that was the first time I ever learnt that it existed. And they had the rescue from the Mer People. I can never remember the actual name of that set, but they had that as well as like Sirius's Escape. And I saw the Lego Buckbeak, and I saw all of these figures, and I was like, that's insane. Where did you get it from? And they said the UK. So I got on a phone call with my nan that night, and I was like, hey, nanny, can you get me some Lego Harry Potter for Christmas? And then I got sent the 2007 Hogwarts Castle that year, and the box was dented and damaged thanks to customs, but it was so exciting, and I was just obsessed with it. When the games came out, I was super hyped. Then I learned that they were rebooting the theme. Oh, it was so good. By far it's my favorite, and I remember as well in like 2018 when they rebooted the current wave of sets. I was in shock. I thought it was fake. I didn't believe that those CMFs were real. It was so good, and it down spiraled me, and it's been getting progressively worse ever since. But I love it. It brought me so much joy in my childhood, and I also feel like it's one of the themes that is probably the most consistent. Like even though I feel like we're slowly getting slightly weaker, it's still like by far, I think, one of the most solid themes that Lego produces, and I'm very grateful for all of that. Hopefully one day I'll own every single set. We're slowly but surely getting there. I love it. I know you guys are all Ninjago people, but Lego Harry Potter, man, it is great.
Oh, I will say, like, Lego Harry Potter was a fan of like massive action themes and stuff before I got into Lego Harry Potter, but like I grew up with the books, fell in love with the Lego as soon as it came out. I bought the Hagrid's Hut. I was introduced to that, and then I found almost every single like pre-2010, I think, Lego Harry Potter set at a garage sale, and they were selling these things for like pennies. I kid you not. I bought Buckbeak's Tower, or the Sirius Black Escape with Buckbeak for like 50 cents. 50 cents. Wow. It was complete sealed in box. And I, like, one of the biggest regrets in my life to this day is not just like handing over a $50 bill and taking everything. They had like the 2008 like Hogwarts set, like still in box for like $5. $5.
No.
And I feel like I missed an opportunity there, but we went back to the garage sale the next day, and the woman at like the front was like, yeah, somebody came in and bought all of them yesterday. And I'm like, no, but like I got a solid couple sets out of the money that I had in my pocket. But yeah,
why could I never find a deal like that? That is not fair.
Yeah,
Chris magic.
For real. I do seem to have a lucky streak when it comes to being able to find Lego sets for decently priced. But then whenever Harry Potter kind of stopped, I'm like, okay, like these ninjas are really cool, and like that's how I became a Ninjago fan. So, and then whenever the rest of Ninjago came, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to get both of these. And I actually skimped out on a little bit of Ninjago back in the day to get Harry Potter. So I know.
Balance. All about balance.
The theme in the show, even. There you go.
That's right.
I remember back initially when the line, like in general, was introduced when the first movies were coming out. I just could not stop looking at the Harry Potter sets because of the fact that every single set that you could buy could all be merged into one cohesive play set. It didn't matter how pretty or ugly it looked. It just, the fact that it all worked together was just the coolest thing. And the fact that we're kind of back at that state, that style of doing the Hogwarts castle portions is just the coolest, maybe kind of like thrilling and nostalgic thing, I feel. It's
such a full circle moment.
It is.
I wonder how much of that as well was on purpose. Like, I know that they were very much like, oh yeah, like similarly to Star Wars, but not as directly. It's like, oh yeah, let's replicate a lot of our first theme for the 20th anniversary. But it's like, I wonder how, like, was that on purpose? Like, I know the roofs were, but like, was this modular connecting system on purpose? Like, I wonder. One day, I hope to find out. But it's like, it's so interesting as well. Like, even like, I feel like Ninjago with the Ninjago Legacy line is like sort of doing that. It's like, oh yeah, let's like replicate all of these sets sort of thing. But it'd be really interesting if like one day they had like a full circle moment like that as well. Because like for the long-term fans, like it's so rewarding and so exciting to see.
Holly, in that vein, which of like the modular systems for Harry Potter would you say is your favorite? By
far, the 2018 to 2022 versions. Like, big rip to them. I personally loved them because it was like it was a super detailed exterior, which I feel like we hadn't really had all too much. Like, 2010 was like pretty close with like the Great Hall and like the Great Tower and things like that. But it's like this one had fantastic exteriors. The interiors, I mean, some of them were a bit lacking, but like they still stood really well. Like you could connect them all, you could stack them, and it's like you got this really detailed version of Hogwarts without spending the hundreds of dollars to get the micro scale one. I love them. I miss them. I've still got a lot of them all built up, and personally I love displaying them because I feel like the newer ones, it's a big wall. Like, it's just a straight wall. Like, I like to call it, like, the Great Wall of Hogwarts. Just like the Great Wall of China, because it's just so straight and flat and boring. But it is really fun to stack them around. I will say that. But, like, in terms of what I'm keeping on display, yeah, those aren't it.
I feel validated in that comment, because I would say the same. So, cool.
I miss them. Bring them back, please.
For real.
Branching off of, like, of course, Lego Harry Potter being your favorite Lego theme, what led to you making the decision to change your previous channel name from Potter Minifig Pals to now Holly on Film? Like, what was the decision making behind that?
There was a couple of main points. The first being, I mean, I remember coming back and I was like, this name's a real mouthful. And it's like, I remember watching Justin's video on the Astronomy Tower review and he gave me a shout out and I was like, man, that name does not sound good when said aloud. I was like, this is too long. Not to mention the fact that it was a blatant ripoff. Like, I could have denied that as much as I wanted to, but internally I was like, no, I know what 11-year-old me was thinking. And I also just thought, I was like, if I want to make the sort of channel name reflect me a lot more. Like, I don't want it to sort of be so focused on one theme specifically, because like the time I had just started buying Lego Star Wars for the first time, and I was really into that. And then last year as well, Marvel had such a solid wave, so I started buying a lot of that and sort of jump around between the 3 themes now. And also Harry Potter, we have 2 big drops a year. That's it. There's really not a lot of stuff going on. So it's like, I feel like just sort of tying myself down to one corner and one theme isn't something that I necessarily wanted to do, especially when I had interests in all these other things. But I also felt like making it a bit more personal and about like me and my collecting journey and just like me as a person, as well as the products, was something that I wanted to do. And I thought I need to do this sooner rather than later. It did take me an entire year to think of a name. So in hindsight, maybe that concept didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped for, but I'm really glad that I did change it. It also is reflective of like my time in the film and television industry, and just also my interest in just making videos in general, sort of making it on film. In my head, it's sort of being like, oh yeah, like on like 35mm film, because I love taking photos with like my film camera and disposable cameras and all of that. I feel like it's just got like a really distinct look. Not that I ever post any of them on my account, but that's something that I personally like doing. I feel like it was sort of like a full circle thing, reflects me, but also like it's pretty generic. Like, it doesn't necessarily like scream Lego. Like, I'm so sick of seeing channels, and this is no offense to anyone with a channel name like that, but I really hate seeing bricks in the name. It's very repetitive at this point.
Okay.
I know so many people like with that.
Shade.
I am. I've got so many friends with like bricks in the name, or like builds. I'm sorry, the Brick Whiz and Josh Build stuff, for directly attacking you here. I love you guys, I promise. But like, for me, I was just like, it's tiring. It's tiring. I want something new.
Masters of Brickjitzu is clever. You gotta admit, it's like. No,
clever. That definitely is. It's a play on words, so I respect that. That one's good. It's not just like I'm gonna throw bricks in there for any reason. It's like, no, this is smart. This is a play on words. This rhymes.
Holly on bricks for 2023.
We'll just change it every year, and then 2024 we'll do Holly Studios, and then 2025 we'll add production in there, and we'll just go through, and then we'll get Holly to like blocks or something.
It'll have to be like Holly Pro Studios or something like that. Like, all
just
these
throw in all stereotypes.
Yep.
No one will ever be able to find me or my content. It's fantastic.
It'll be great.
And whenever you fully deep dive into Ninjago, you can be Hollywood.
Yes.
Hollywood.
It's fantastic. I like, even though we joke about this though, it's like I still have to like leave Potter Minifig Pals in like my tags, because occasionally some people will still look it up or still refer to it as that. So I'm just like, I have to leave it in the tags for now, just so that if it does, it's like, oh, okay, they just changed their channel name.
That's smart.
Especially with all of the Harry Potter stuff going on.
Exactly, which is quite nice. I'm like, oh yeah, Potter, let's throw that in there as well. Hogwarts Legacy, yeah, please give me a boost.
That's really smart, actually.
it's good. It's nice system. Jumping on the trends there. Hashtag Lego Leagues. Let's go.
Since you trend to focus on licensed themes, with those sets and maybe beyond, do you feel the minifig is underutilized in some sets, or do you think it's like more overutilized?
Ooh, I really like this question as a minifig like fanatic myself, but also it's giving me major throwbacks to those Star Wars designer gunship interviews right now. For me, it's sort of a mix, because like I love minifigures. Like as a kid and even today, I like would always plan out my purchases on how I can get all of the minifigures that I was after. Like I remember when Scooby-Doo came out, I was like, I want the entire mystery gang. I was like, okay, gotta get the mystery machine. That's Fred, Shaggy, Scooby. Like Daphne was my favorite, so I knew I had to have her. And it's like, at the time, like, I wasn't buying much Lego. I didn't have much pocket money, but I forked out the money to buy that spooky castle. And in hindsight, I am very, very glad I did. But it's like the only reason I bought it was so that I could get all of the minifigures. But at the same time, I'm like, these days, I'm like, I want a solid set. Like, I don't want a set just to rely on the minifigures to sell. And it's like, I think back to like the Spider-Man No Way Home sets, and I was like, that's exactly what they were doing. Like, I was just like, I'm buying these for the minifigures. The builds, not that impressed by it, like, kind of boring, don't really care for any of the parts. Like, I'm literally buying this for the figures. So I feel like Marvel does this quite a lot, like, even with like their tiny $10 mechs. Like, I'm not buying that Wolverine mech for a mech, I'm buying it for Wolverine people. So I feel like in some of them, it's like they're definitely overutilized, and like they are trying to compensate with minifigures a lot. But then I feel like there's some themes, it's like Harry Potter, like, they are underutilizing them recently. Like, we're just throwing the same face prints on everyone, and like even the DeLorean, oh my gosh, that reused face print on Marty McFly, like that. I'm just like, if I'm spending that much money on a set, like, I want a good figure. And it's like, I feel like they're just slacking off a tiny bit, and it's such a shame to see. And like, even Star Wars, I'm like, I want a cool model, yeah, for my UCS set, but I also want a really cool minifigure to accompany it. That being said, it's like, I love minifigures, but I feel like they need to complement the set and not overshadow it, or even just be like a fun side addition. Like, they need to sort of work with each other, I feel like, and that's why I love the Daily Bugle, especially. Like, that was such a beautiful set, and the minifigures just made it even better. It's like, it wasn't just like a throw-in set like I feel like Star Wars does sometimes, and it wasn't like just the center of it like a lot of Marvel sets do. Like, it was a nice, beautiful balance. And can we have more on that, please? Please. And also, let's not constantly reuse the same face prints. Please, I'm dying here. It's so frustrating.
Ninja.
Yeah, with Ninjago, with Ninjago Legacy especially, it's just like, here is 11 Legacy Kais in the span of 3 years, and there's not even close to that many of...
I'm sorry, but Kai isn't even the best ninja. Like,
Hey,
why,
man.
why do Lego focus on him? Give me more Jay, please.
Oh, so Jay is your favorite.
Jay by far is my favorite. Always has been. I don't know why. I mean, back when he was a ginger, like, I was still Team Jay. Then he changed his hair, and I was like, who is this? Honestly, it looks a lot better. But like, I just feel like it's always Kai. I'm like, why? What's so special about
Kai's
Kai? He had a
marketable.
stupid haircut in the first few seasons. Like,
Hey.
come on, guys.
Wow.
It was
Okay. Well.
special. They call him hair gel for a reason in the show. I mean, come on.
That's true. That's true.
All right, guys, and that's been Holly Bricks on Masters of Brickjitzu. Thanks for stopping by.
Even then, like, after the Lego
Slander.
Ninjago movie, it was always, it's the same head. Doesn't matter if it's Legacy, doesn't matter if it's any of the stuff from the seasons, doesn't matter how many times they're in sets in the movie, it is the exact same head, and it stays that way. And sure, there was like one additional head for Lloyd in the movie sets, which we all know he was the main character of that. But it's just so interesting how even beyond that, when it's like, even though they're going back with Legacy, they still would rather opt on having the movie styled heads instead of going for more accuracy, which I know that especially with superheroes and Harry Potter fans and Ninjago fans altogether, there's kind of this love and appreciation for accuracy that just kind of doesn't always hit the mark, or really doesn't.
Ever
It's so
hit the mark.
interesting. And it's like, there is that familiarity between the two of them that I feel like goes unspoken, but they both understand each other really well, and it's just kind of, there's a unity there, and I love that, even though it might not be the best of
100%.
circumstances.
It also just reminded me as well, I'm like, with Kai being in so many sets, like, he's in just as many sets, I feel like, as Harry, right? And it's like, it's always the same facial expression. Like, at least can we get some with, like, alternating facial expressions, that we've got, like, 2 different heads to constantly use all the time? Like,
Gotta give credit
is
to
it
Prime
really
Empire,
that
though.
hard? Like, oh.
Yeah, I will say we
Yeah.
have.
Well, Prime Empire did have, like, Prime Empire, the gaming season 12 had different head prints for the ninja that actually can be used outside of the digital, like, minifigs. They had a face with a visor, and then the back of their face just had a regular expression, but those expressions were new, and that was like huge, because I think that was like one of the first times we got like different expressions for the ninja of the new movie era, I guess you could say. So it was really cool to have that, but that was really one of the only times that we've gotten different facial expressions for the ninja. And it was only one face. So
Took
I
them
really
3
wish they
years.
didn't just stick to that. Like that is, I feel like those are the only cases where it happens. I'm like, why are we only doing it then? Like I want
Right.
something else. Like I want like a smirk or something alongside my generic smile or like a scared face. Like there are so many really cool different Lego faces or expressions. And I even feel like maybe this is one of the reasons why a lot of Ninjago fans want a CMF series, is that so you can get new heads and things like that. Like I remember with like the Harry Potter series, it's like, oh yeah, we got like different facial expressions. Like the main face was like somewhat similar, but the alternate faces was something new, and I loved that. It's like a Ninjago CMF. Like, admittedly, I would much rather them just put it into the sets, like instead of having a full CMF series. But it's like if they did that, yeah, no, like by far that we're gonna get new face prints for that, and honestly, can't blame Ninjago fans for that. It's repetitive getting the same ones over and over and over again. It's tiring. I'm tired.
Sure.
Let's mix
Part
it
of
up,
me-
people.
Part of me kind of worries that maybe Lego thinks that Ninjago has to stay within a very, very, very specific identity, when really now it literally is just a household name, and it really doesn't matter in whatever way it appears. Look at Ninjago City Gardens. It can be Ninjago without feeling or looking like it being Ninjago at any level, really. But we always see it where it's just like, oh, candy-colored pajama people fighting against snakes in either a robot or a motorcycle. The end. Maybe a dragon
Yeah,
or two.
yeah.
Who knows? But you know,
Yeah.
that's still cool.
I
Kids
feel
like that.
personally attacked by that statement, but you're so right. Like
Well, I'm technically attacking myself, so it's like, you know,
that's true. This is a Ninjago podcast. So
everybody's being attacked, but we're all kind of, you know, okay.
We're all
with it.
enjoying it.
right.
We're all
right.
enjoying it. We're enjoying the pain together.
Yeah, did you have any thoughts on that, Kyle, at all? Did you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I mean, obviously, same sort of complaints of that. I feel like face prints are reused quite a bit, and I know, like, even on your channel, Holly, I've seen your videos where you've done it with how they reuse it a lot in, like, the Marvel stuff as well, and I collect a lot of that too, and it feels repetitive, and it feels like kind of like an issue that surrounds multiple themes with Lego, so it would be nice to get some variety, but I can also understand, I suppose, from like a behind the scenes perspective of like why they might not do that as much, but it of course would be very nice.
Everyone's suffering together.
You have Minecraft fans with their piles and piles of Alex and Steve, and you have your Batman fans who are wondering like, wow, it'd be great to get a Bruce Wayne face for once.
Or another hero that's not Batman. Sorry.
Cough, cough, make DC amazing again.
Right.
But it's like one reuse that really annoyed me recently, actually, was like the Thor and Thor's hammer. I was like, why are we using like Endgame Thor for like odd looking Chris Hemsworth that doesn't quite look like Chris Hemsworth in the original Thor movie? I was like, come on, please.
He looks too cuddly.
Exactly, he looked far too happy. I was like, Thor back then was like grumpy, he was arrogant, he was full of himself. Like, this Thor looks like I could go and hang out with him and play like foosball. Like, these aren't the same people.
Which that's a face you should be getting from Bro Thor, but like,
Exactly.
which is exactly why the head was made. But then you're hearing it's like, oh, okay.
Here we go again.
Hey, at least I got a torso print. That's new.
Yay.
Did it even
But,
have
you
its
know.
The whole
super?
reason I'm gonna buy the hammer.
Even have its like super bleached eyebrows and stuff? Because it's like iconic Thor one. Facial features, just the bleached eyebrows. Unnecessarily bleached eyebrows, mind you.
Exactly. It's like, I want that immortalized in Lego form. Like, come on.
Exactly.
And all of us Ninjago fans can gather in unity knowing that at least our legs get leg printing.
That's facts.
Yeah, that's very true, and I am very jealous.
Oh man.
Just Lego own licensed things.
And we get
So with-
translucent limbs. So there's that as well.
Laughs
Well,
and
you all skip Chima, so
But you get glow in the dark
True,
ghost,
true.
so it's a
that's
little
true.
better than
that
Zilla.
was very fun. I
better
did
than
love
like
that.
blue ghost mold, but it's neither here nor there.
I will say when it comes to Ninjago, we have probably plenty or too many memories to share between us all. But for you, Holly, do you have what is the fondest memory of Ninjago for you?
Oh, see, this I love talking about this because it just takes me right back. Okay, so like Chris, right? Harry Potter's ending. You know what happened immediately after? Ninjago and Pharaoh's Quest. And I distinctly remember like going back through the catalogs and like even like checking like Ninjago's website like constantly. Like I was like, oh, well, like these themes look so cool. They're releasing in January. Like, oh, which one do I get? And I was like, oh, that pyramid looks really cool. Like, look at those beetles. Oh, but the ninja and the skeletons, like look at their cool outfits. And ultimately I went with Ninjago, which I feel like definitely was the much better choice considering Pharaoh's Quest died pretty quickly. That pyramid, though, very expensive on the aftermarket.
Yeah.
But Ninjago, it was more fun. And, like, how can you say no to the colorful ninjas? So I was really excited. Like, I went out and I bought the spinner packs and I had a lot of fun with them. They were so much fun. Like, I had the arena. It's, like, battling with them and all the weapons. And I was like, all right, well, how do I get, like, all of the ninja? How do I get all of the skeletons? Whoa, Samukai. And, like, my sister bought Garmadon's Fortress. We still have that to this day, except I did lose Samukai, which is very unfortunate and very expensive to replace, which is really bad. But I would like constantly like play with these things. Like we would create stories, and then I remember the show coming out and watching it. Like I definitely watched the first season, and I think I watched like half of the second season, and like it was a pretty solid kids show. Like it was really awesome, and I loved it. Like those were really impressive sets as well. Like there was something different compared to like all of the Lego that I'd bought previously, which was like Pirates of the Caribbean. I can't even remember actually when that came out. That might have been afterwards, but like a lot of it was just like all movie themed or like a basic city set here and there. And it's like I always wanted the dragons, especially like Jay's lightning dragon. I loved it. Like Cole's Earth Dragon, those things looked amazing. Did I ever get them? Unfortunately not, but I really loved them, and it was so fresh and like so different. I also really wanted like the Temple of Arjitsu. Like it was so cool, and I love looking back at it now, like especially last year for like the 10th anniversary, and like just seeing like how much like the theme had changed, like getting like the full Lego Ninjago movie. Like that is so cool, and I love watching it as I grow up, like just sort of in the background and seeing it thrive and seeing so many people. Like I remember release day on June 1st last year, like I was at the Lego store all day because their deliveries just didn't come in, and these like school kids walk in and they were like, oh, did you guys get the like new Ninjago stuff? And they were like, unfortunately not. And I was like, oh, like it was pretty sad actually trying to like see these kids like get excited and like really want to buy this new stuff. But it just like it proved to me that I was like, Ninjago is alive and well. It's beautiful. It's fun. Like it's just so good to see a Lego theme like thrive the way that Ninjago has. I love it so much.
Yeah.
10 years. Crazy.
Congratulations, Ninjago.
Heck, we passed 11 years actually, which is also
Crazy.
insane. Not too many themes can say that and like be there consistently. Harry Potter. But it's
I mean, you're spinning facts though.
I mean, it's facts, but then it's like, what else is there? Could you count City even though all the name changes? Can you count any of the racing themes even though they've gone from licensed to non-licensed consistently? You can say the same for Star Wars. Can't say the same thing for Bionicle, even though, like, well, if you add it all together, maybe close to it. But it's like you never see this with a brand. But the thing is, like, with other toy brands, too, not just LEGO, you don't see this kind of consistency for something that they made that doesn't take a hiatus for a little while, come back in 7 years with a whole brand new marketing push just because somehow they convinced stores to carry it again. You never see that anymore. And there's never any, it just stays. And that's amazing.
In that same vein, like, even, like, Star Wars action figures and stuff, like, there was a time where, like, I was super into that, and I thought that was really cool, but, like, the consistency isn't there for those, and those have been around for, since the original movie came out. Like, there's just not been the consistency. And, like, I mean, you could argue, like, oh, hey, a new theme for Ninjago, or a new wave, I guess, if you will, kind of follows that, we're going to kind of reinvent the wheel for this one, but, like, it's still always the same main, 6, 7, 8 characters, and then, a bad guy somewhere in there, and snakes, probably. 80% chance snakes.
It's like the way that Lego set up Ninjago, honestly, it kind of reminds me of like Disney Channel's like golden era, right? Like they had a formula of like what to do to make these like pop stars and like shows super successful. And it's like, I feel like Lego like struck gold with what they did with Ninjago. It's like come up with this like really fun theme that's in like this alternate world. Like they created a universe, and at that point it's like they've been able to expand on it since then. But at that point it was still pretty small. And I feel like having the TV show especially, like that was such a big win for Ninjago, because it's like it gave you this story that people then could like go and like sort of just create their own. Like you can expand on that, and then as the show continues, like you expand on this universe, you create this backstory. Like I remember when they were teasing the Green Ninja on like the website, and I was like, oh, who is this? And then I watched the show, and it was like the biggest plot twist of my life. I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? And it was just like so cool. And it's like, in a way, it's like Lego has created like a similar sort of like universe to like Harry Potter or Star Wars or Marvel. It's like you've got all of these characters, you've got these side characters, you have this backstory, you have this history and this like legacy, and it's so cool to see a company do that. And it's like, I know there's been so many issues as well with like the show and like people being able to access it and things like that, and hopefully that does get sorted out and just becomes so much easier. Pen, I know you were a very big advocate for this, but it's like I think that would really just continue to keep Ninjago going as strong as it is, because there are so many kids that enjoy that show. Like I enjoyed that show when I was younger, people still enjoy that show, and even to like its older audience, like it's still got a lot of heart in it. I just really wish that like they would have more consequences. Like I constantly hear, it's like I'd get updates be like, oh yeah, so like this character died, but then they came back and they're now a zombie, and now they're a ghost, and now they're an android. I'm just like, can we not? Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, like
someone
then again,
stay
like,
gone?
right, exactly. It's like, for me, it's like, what are we teaching kids, right? So if you have Zane who died, and then he comes back as you know, he comes back, you're teaching kids that, oh, maybe there's a possibility, you know, people don't come back, you know what I mean? When they're
it's
gone.
like, Spot, yes, he went to the farm. He's not coming back.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Spot.
I don't know why that made me so sad, but it did.
You're a dog dad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely a dog dad, 100%. Like, man.
Oh, it's next level when that happens to a pet. But it's like at the same time, it's like you gotta just have some sort of consequence. Like even if it was just like something bad happens to the ninja or something, and then the next season, like they've got to recover from that. Like let's do that.
Cole did turn into a ghost, and then he
happy.
became a human again and had a huge scar on his face, but then that got cut. So.
Yeah, after the movie
for forcing him to be a human again.
I remember when I saw him as a ghost, I was like, what on earth happened? How many chapters have I missed of this show? Like, why is he green all of a sudden?
Right.
He looks like he's gonna throw up. Like, what's happening with this minifigure?
And there's only one minifigure of it too. It's like only one Ghost Cole minifigure, despite the fact that was like a good year and a half of time that people were enjoying Ninjago. True.
It's true.
Because we have to make like 5 different Kais. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he came in 2 sets, and there was only one like head for the Ghost Cole, and like under the mask you couldn't really tell like he was a ghost. Like you can see the little bit of a green, but yeah, that was because he turned into a ghost in Possession, which is, you know, you would assume that he would be a ghost in those sets, but he wasn't. But we didn't get that till the next wave in Skybound, which was the next season, and he came in a pretty expensive set, and he had a ghost head, and that was the only thing ghost about him was his head. But
this was
that
back
makes
when
me
there was
feel
no
special because I'm pretty
tandem
sure I
planning.
got that.
Hey, nice.
I don't know where. I know they're in a box somewhere, but they're somewhere.
waiting.
After we're done recording, you can just go ahead and find all your Ninjago stuff. Make a little spot for it in your room somewhere.
yes.
Move the bugle or something to storage. I don't know. It's not that important.
We'll add them to like a bunch of different sets. Like we'll throw them in Diagon Alley. They can be going shopping.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Guys, next Ninjago season, they're wizards.
I mean, with the way that Ninjago is kind of just like scooping up various themes and regurgitating them, like, you know, you give it a couple of years, you know.
Oh, I'd love for them to do a Pharaoh's Quest crossover. Like they've done Atlantis. Like, come on, steal your competition. Like, let's go. Rub it in their faces that you've survived.
Yeah,
We're
there
so
was a
close to that in
season
season
close.
11 was like with the desert
Really?
theme or in the show. It was more in the show.
Yeah.
But it was like a deserty, like sandy thing with the pyro snakes, and they were fighting Aspira, the sorcerer. She was like a snake sorceress, and she was trapped up in a pyramid, and they had Clutch Powers come in and help them explore and
Oh,
all
that's
that. So it was
amazing.
really cool.
It
Yeah,
is.
so Clutch Powers is a character in Ninjago, and he is awesome. He also has a
I want-
minifigure as well.
I want a classic space or like Monkie Kid crossover. That would be fun.
A lot of people are praying for the Monkie Kid crossover. It's just that's one of those things where it's like it'd be cool to see them in each other's style without them being permanently stuck that way. But having that adventure would be awesome.
Like the
Sure.
Jimmy Timmy Power Hour from
Exactly.
Nickelodeon. Oh man, that would be something else.
That was the stuff of vipers, but it was something.
Yeah, that was wild.
Speaking of Lego Monkey Kid, Holly, have you ever considered dabbling in that Lego theme?
A couple of times I've come specifically very, very close as of January, seeing that City of, I think it was, what's it called? City of Lanterns, like the modular one. Yeah. I love that set. It looks adorable. It looks so cool. But I thought to myself, I was like, look, this is going to be one of those sets where I look back at it in a year and I'm like, this takes up too much of my space. I need to get rid of it. I'm tempted to buy it and just like build it and experience it and then sell it like immediately after just so I can like have that experience because I love Monkie Kid. I think it's super cool. Like I really hope that it lasts like Ninjago has because I think it's so creative. I also love the art style of the show. I remember I was looking on Twitter one night actually and it was like the like Australian like network was like, oh yeah, it's like streaming now. Here's the company that made it. And I was like, hold on a second. I've visited that company. I've gone in that building. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know this was Australian, so that was a really fun Easter egg for me to figure out. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I know those guys. I've worked for you. Hello. So I was like, good for you. I also know like they're doing like What If, I think, at the moment as well. So it was like really cool to just see like an Australian like production company like do stuff. I was like, oh, sweet. But it was like I loved how like they're doing like the same layout like with the show, and also I find the sets like even more so than Ninjago I feel like are just incredibly unique and incredibly cool. Like that ship that from like the first wave that was insane. No, not the the Monkie Kid one. The like shipping container set. Don't get me wrong, love the Destiny's Bounty, but that shipping container boat, oh, that was amazing. Yeah.
That is
and then it's like all of the side builds in Monkie Kid as well. Like they look like all the little buildings and like Pigsy's food truck as well. I loved the look of. Like I feel like I'm very tempted to try it out because I'm like I've had Ninjago sets like previously. Like I feel like I need to try out its predecessor. Like all the sets that I love are the really expensive ones, and like already that theme is like it's pushing it. But I feel like I need to. Like it just looks so cool. I also should probably watch an episode. Oh, the worst thing is like I'm gonna get addicted, aren't I? And then I'm just gonna end up with all the Monkie Kid sets.
To make it worse, when it comes to all those fun buildings that are on all the sets, they combine with the City of Lanterns, no matter what year they came out.
No.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No. It's like I saw when the Lego designers like even took like 3 of them and then combined them. I was like, this is dangerous. This looks so good with like the monorail going like around. Oh, it's so beautiful.
The versatility.
Like, they've done so well with that theme. I want to see it thrive the way that Ninjago has. I'm like, come on, let's go. Let's hit another win here.
It's awesome
Lego with like Asian like themes and backgrounds. It's a winning combination. So let's keep it up. Let's go. I also feel like you can like incorporate it into like a regular city and sort of make like just spice it up a bit. Like have like a noodle restaurant or something.
The Lego store is really cool too in the city. I thought that was an awesome touch.
That one is my favorite, and that's like one of the main reasons I want it. I'm like, this looks adorable. Like I want to be able to like expand on it, and like you know how there's always like even like in the Bricklink designer program, like there's that like modular Lego store. Like I want to get it, and I want to make like sort of like a bigger version of it, sort of like they have with those like promos for when they open up a new store. Like I feel like that would be really cool, like expanding on that just the dragon being on the top, like it's adorable. It reminds me of like the Disney Springs dragon as well. I love
the same
it.
thing.
Oh, it is? Okay,
Yeah.
Yes,
well, that makes
same.
Brickley is the mascot of the Lego stores.
Yeah, because
So
I remember seeing
he'll
him like a
go
couple of
everywhere.
times, but it's been years. Like, I feel like the only remain of him now is like at the Disney Spring store. I
It
didn't even know
depends
he
on
had a
which
name.
store. A lot of the flagship stores, so like, what's a good example? Fifth Avenue, the Disney stores, which one you go to on either side of the U.S. and wherever they ever have one across the world. The Leicester Square one, they all have Brickley somewhere.
I'm gonna
He's
go
built.
hunting
He's
for them.
like
This sounds
built into
great.
the
I'm going
city
to
or
all
something.
4 of those stores like next month. I'm excited to get my stamps. I'm gonna go hunting for him.
You were one of the only people that I have ever met who took advantage of the. Well, you and Sans, I suppose, but
He's the
you
whole reason I
both.
even got it in the first place.
You both are just obsessed with the stamps, and that is something that is just so underutilized. And it's like, it's good for travel, but there's so many kids who have no idea that it even exists. And
You
it's
know
so
who else don't even know
interesting.
who exists? Oh my gosh. So, okay, fun story. So, I went to Legoland, Florida, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get a stamp. Sans and I, that was our main goal, was to get a stamp. Claire was after this like Benny's like popcorn bucket or something. No, I didn't care about that. I wanted a stamp. So I go into the brick shop and I was like, not the brick shop, the big shop. And I was like, oh yeah, let's have a look. Wow, look at all of these cool things. Oh my gosh, they have suitcases. This is insane. Look at all this cool merch. And I go up to the desk and I was like, hey, can I get my stamp? Because like Sans had showed me the one he got from Legoland, California when they went and met La Llama from the Lego video concert. And I was like, all right, so I know that these stamps exist. The employee is like, yeah, I don't know what that is. Let me go and ask this person. I was like, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that for a while. Like, I don't think we do that. And I was like, great. We'll try again this afternoon. So go back. Oh, yeah, like, so, no, sorry, you're going to have to ask customer service. We go to customer service. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Like, I don't know what it is. And I was like, are you serious? Like, we've literally just showed you, like, one from a different Legoland park. So I walked away from Legoland, Florida without a stamp. It was very depressing.
I think that you might have just caught it at a time where they actually had a stamp, as opposed to them always having one. Because
Probably.
Legoland's functions were all put into motion by a company called Merlin that, up until a couple years ago, were not owned by Lego. So it eventually, there was no consistency between Legoland and the Lego stores themselves. So you can't like even use the IP across them either. Unless they like have a special system in place where it's like, oh, present the card, get this. Unless that's recently changed, that would be a very recent change if so. But there is no consistency between what's at Legoland and outside of it. It's really, really strange. Although
I feel like I'm gonna have to
makes
make my
some
own
sense.
stamp. Just to
Do
be like,
it.
yep, big shop. Just go to like some
Brick
stamp
stamp.
printing thing. Be like, yep, and I'll make one for like the Australian stores as well, because like we don't have the stamp system. Like the stores will just sign it. So if I just like make a stamp and then like get them to write which store it was underneath, that way I can get all my stamps. I've got a pretty hefty collection. Like we've got Disney Springs on here. We've got some like San Francisco ones. Oh, there we go. San Francisco Kangoa Park in LA, which is exciting. I've got to get my Downtown Disney one because they didn't have the passport when I went to get it, so that was unfortunate. So
Does Australia
back.
have their own passport for?
I
like,
wish. I doubt it. I'm like, it's a certified store, so it runs it runs very similar, but also like very different, which is like
Yeah,
why I can buy sets like early from them sometimes
Yeah.
if they're not street dated. So it's like I know that they've heard of the stamp system, but I don't think we have our own ones, which is also
Okay.
frustrating because I'm like, what if I fill this passport up and I need to get a second one? Like, I'm gonna have to go quite far to try and get one of them because I thought to myself like when I fill it up, I'm gonna have to staple like a second one to the back to make it like super thick because they did not give me enough pages. I'm like, no, I want to get a stamp from every single store. Like, I need more space, please.
with the certified stores, it's more of a plan your own Lego store toolkit that they get, and then they go from there, ask questions, and just kind of set it up themselves. So
Yeah, they're
it's
playing
like
dress up.
it's Lego store adjacent with the certified stores, which is why they get away with so much, but also by getting away by not doing a lot of the stuff that you'd expect of a Lego store too.
If you were to introduce a Ninjago fan to like a Marvel superhero set or like a Lego Harry Potter set, what set would you recommend that isn't like a D2C or like something over maybe like 150?
Ooh, because like instantly, like Bugle is the best set to go for. But since that's a D2C, honestly, I feel like for a Ninjago fan, right? Like Ninjago, we're used to a lot of mechs. You know what has a lot of them? Unfortunately, Marvel. I feel like one of like the Ironmonger set or like any of the Hulkbusters, I'd avoid the $10 mechs unless you're like a young Ninjago fan. Like, I feel like for other people, like you want to go for those like cool, super detailed like Marvel mechs, or like even like something like Inarishim Shadow where it's like a character. I feel like that would be perfect. For Harry Potter, that's a difficult one because I feel like they're two very different things. It's like you've got ninjas and then you've got wizards and like castles and temples, and they sort of don't line up. Though I feel like with Harry Potter, like you can't go wrong with one of the castles. Specifically, the 2018 one would be perfect, or any of those sort of like beautiful exterior ones. Not so much the newer ones, I guess. I feel like they'd be perfect for like Monkie Kid fans, since like I feel like that City of Lanterns set is just like the Chamber of Secrets and Monkie Kid's like love child or something like that. Like it's just like a crossbreed of the two of them. I love it for that reason. So I feel like you have to go with the beautiful location, like set the best impression, get a cool castle, enjoy yourself. But then again, those castles can be a little expensive, so I don't know. Hogwarts Express, I feel like, is another one, even though it's completely different to anything Ninjago will offer you.
Very true.
As a Ninjago sitting over here starving with the playsets, get the burrow. Get the burrow. If you can find the burrow, get the burrow.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while. I mean, like, I know we just had, like, Ninjago City Gardens, but, like, I mean, and that new temple, but, like, I want more locations, please, from Ninjago.
You and me
The
both.
dungeons is amazing.
Give me some villages. I want some
Jeez.
stands.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
goodness, yes.
Jamonikai Village would be so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Even just like a small sec, like I mean, kind of in the same vein of like Harry Potter. Like if you were to do that, like little village and like have it build up over time, or like how Monkie Kid does it, where you get little sections of it, like here and there, and before you know it, you've got this like entire full village.
Collect them all.
Exactly.
Like I remember when playing like Dimensions, like Ninjago, like I loved it. Like we had the Nia like pack, and I loved playing as her because I loved exploring the Ninjago like section of the game. Like I found it would not just be one of the most interesting worlds that Dimensions had to offer, not to mention the fact that you could just spin Jitsu around the entire map. I loved it. It was fantastic. But it's like I'm going through this world and I'm like, there are so many things that they could make out of this. Like a master builder style sort of like Mos Eisley type of thing. I would love that for just like a village.
Please.
Like, please. Like
Could
mix
you,
it up.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of sets that other themes get, and Lego seems to pick like the worst ones to try to emulate into Ninjago, like the 2015 which set was it? The little dojo temple fight thing with the extra ninja in it, or the extra tournament elements guys. Like
Oh, the Dojo Showdown?
There we go. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But just like these weird like fighting, I don't know. Lego needs to take some of like their cooler sets and kind of emulate them into Ninjago sort of style. Like you said, that Mos Eisley's Cantina would be really cool. I just don't know how they would do that like in a Ninjago style, but
Upgrade
be a
some
cool
iconic
challenge.
locations to DTC size. I want a DTC Fire Temple, please and thank you. Or
Oh, yes.
City of Sticks, I beg of you.
I think
Please.
a DTC Temple of Fortitude from Rebooted would be really cool. But that's
Hey.
shameless
Or even
plug.
do like the Fire Temple as like just a really big legacy set, like in the style of like the Marvel Benatar, where it's like it's D2C, but it's not quite. It's a bit cheaper and like slightly less of like a display standy thing, but like you get the idea that this is just a giant set and it's beautiful.
Like
yeah.
Elsa's Castle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
so good.
So good.
So much potential here. So much potential.
And yet.
Yeah. And yet we digress.
Have some more skeletons. Have some more snakes.
Yeah.
I don't mind the snakes. I'll actually go up to bat for the snakes almost every day of the year, just because it is kind of like the bread and butter, if you will, of Ninjago. But like, I will say, like having 3 years now back to back, where we've gotten that reused whipper mold as it's
The
been
whipper
done.
balls.
I wonder if that's one of the reasons why they keep redoing it. It's just because it's like a really interesting minifigure design. It's like, wow, these characters look cool. Let's reuse them again.
Shout out to the Chamber of Secrets gargoyles, who are also that.
Oh, I love seeing them pop up. They were so good.
Unique
bought-
color, which is nice.
Yeah, I bought those off Bricks and Pieces just because I wanted them. Like, I really wanted to get the Chamber of Secrets, but I decided not to do any of the new Hogwarts module system. But it would have been so cool.
I love font usage like that. It looks so good, so nice, and also it's a nice little reference. It's like, oh, I know that theme. I know where you're from.
It was like one of the few days, or one of the few times in like recent Ninjago history where I saw Ninjago fans actively posting about Lego Harry Potter, and I'm like, this is such a weird occurrence to me, but it's something that I want to see become less of a weird occurrence. Like, Holly, you gotta
get some Ninjago content. Get some.
Yeah.
I remember I bought like one of like the Kai spinners or something because I wanted to like compare it to like my original one, and I feel like that was the only time I like ever talked about Ninjago.
Was the J epic battle?
Yeah. I loved them. I also saw like people use that spinner a lot on TikTok, where like people like put like Baby Yoda on it and just like spun it round and made it look like he was dancing. I thought that was really funny. It's like Ninjago representation on TikTok, guys. It's going. It's going.
We have a TikTok account. Shameless plug to everybody who's watching this. Go follow Masters of Brickjitzu on TikTok. There's like 6 videos, and they could use your views, and we'd love you forever for it. So
we gotta push that representation. All I ever see on TikTok is Star Wars. We gotta branch out. Let people know that there are more things than just botanical flowers and Star Wars sets.
To be fair,
everyone's doing our part.
Those botanical flowers are aesthetic as heck.
Oh, they're beautiful. I love them. I also love the new sunflowers, even though like the petals break off so easily. I mean, I did just shove it in my drawer, so what did I expect? But they look great.
That's not the stories I have about in botanical season when it was the thing on TikTok.
Wait, I want to... Not a story for right now, but I want to hear that story eventually.
Another podcast. But anyway, wrapping this up.
I won this set, but it's sold out. Oh, okay. We can't keep up with our stock issues.
Stock issues in Lego? No way.
Who would have thought?
Another
guys,
podcast.
Get prepared for Christmas now.
Anything you want to add, Kyle? Anything you want to add?
No. I mean, there's not much more to say about Lego stock issues. Not much more I can say.
A whole podcast.
You want this set? No. You want these Series 22 minifigures, Australia? Oh, well, you have to wait till March. But you want those Marvel mechs that got cancelled? Oh yeah, they're in the back room of every Lego store. Enjoy.
I remember, like every single week they were promoting the botanical sets after they launched, and there were no botanical sets anywhere. You couldn't find them anywhere. Didn't matter.
My favorite was like reading like the Instagram as like they were just approaching Valentine's Day, and everyone's like, "It's sold out. When are you gonna restock these? Why are you advertising this if I can't buy it?"
Yeah,
exactly.
Like every country store sold out. Like it wasn't even like it was just like the
US that had
sold out. It was everywhere.
All right, time for a final thought.
Yeah, wrapping this up. One last question I've got. If you could go back and get any Lego set throughout the entire years of Lego's existence, what would you get and why? This is the last question that we have for you.
Oh, this is so tough. Actually, I was about to say no. This is incredibly easy. I want the Black Pearl so badly. I remember like I saw the Queen Anne's Revenge and I was like, oh, I really want that. That looks amazing. And then stupidly I bought Whitecap Bay instead, which I've since sold. And now I just look at the Black Pearl and I'm like, I need it. Like, I don't want to go and buy too many retired sets, but that is one that I'm like, one day I have to have it. My best friend's got it, and it's gorgeous. I love it. I want it. I was stupid. I should have bought it, and it's only going to get more expensive from here. I need that thing. I need it. I love it.
It is really awesome. It is a really awesome set.
One day. Also, that Davy Jones figure alone is just, so good.
Oh yeah, the claw arm.
I don't even know how or where I would display it, but I'm like, it's gorgeous, and it's pirates, and it's so pretty. Everyone loves the ship.
Exactly. Every Lego fan's like worst nightmare. Like, where am I going to put this new set I just bought?
That's the problem. Is I'll just buy things and I'll build them, and then I figure that out later, and it's not a good system.
Yep, I can relate that.
Tried doing that for a while. I just like move stuff into like a plastic bag and then throw it into one of the bins that I have like other plastic bag Lego sets. I'm like, we'll figure this out later. Like, and like I'm 2-3 years into doing that, and I really need to stop.
See, I remember when I did it with the Daily Bugle. It's like I bought it, I opened it, and I was like, I didn't even think about where I was going to put it. And I was like, this is too tall of a set to think that with. what am I doing? Not
Beat
good.
yourself.
Same with Diagon Alley. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put this, but I'm going to build it.
But I want it, and I want it now.
Love to see it.
Meanwhile, there's like smaller sets that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to build that. Don't know where I want to put it. Let's just put that on the back bench for now. It's like, big sets? No, let's build this instantly.
I mean, once you start buying like big sets, small sets just seem so inferior.
I disagree to an extent. I feel like there's some pretty solid small sets. Specifically, I feel like Star Wars has got some killer small sets right now. Harry Potter, on the other hand, it's like, no, just get the big ones and you're fine. Same with Ninjago. Just don't even buy the small sets. Just invest in all of the retired Ninjago City sets. You're fine.
Yeah.
They can only go up.
But yeah, Holly, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing your.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any final thoughts at all? Oh yeah, make sure you shout out your socials as well, because you gotta plug it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, true. Hi, please subscribe to my channel, Holly on Film. You can also search Potty Minifig Pals because it's in the tags of everything. I'm on TikTok where I just create chaos. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I make a lot of Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Marvel content, and we'll try and feature Ninjago to represent all of you guys too.
Hey, nice.
Link in the description for her channel link. But yeah, that's all. That's the end of Master of the Brickjitzu podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you all in the next one.
Thanks,
Later.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye!